All right, everyone, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on here and take a look at the forecast a little bit, etc. It's a very dynamic storm system, to say the least, so instead of writing everything out a million times, we're just going to chat about it as we go, throughout here. So one thing of note is we have a severe thunderstorm warning, first and foremost, across the Upper Peninsula, and winter storm warning and a severe thunderstorm warning at the same time, because why not, right? So we'll talk about that, and of course, talking about all the other stuff going on. So just going to give it a couple seconds here, and then we'll dive in. Feel free to ask questions all the time as well. Hopefully everyone knows you are more than welcome to do that. Just going to grab a couple things here. Make sure I can see your comments. That's a great place to start. And what's that? Special weather statement. Okay, yeah, lots going on. All right. We're going to start off by talking about what's going on in the Upper Peninsula. So as you can see, we have lots going on, including a severe thunderstorm warning. And I am not going to lie, I don't know the name of this county, but this is for 1-inch diameter hail and 50-mile-per-hour winds, according to the radar. This is central Menominee County, and that's going to go until, am I not able to see it here? That is going to go until 9:30 p.m. Or I guess they're in Central Time, so 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Severe thunderstorm located 9 miles south of Powers, or 27 miles southwest of Escanaba. Moving southeast at 35. Again, quarter-size hail at 50-mile-per-hour winds. This can cause some damage, but just something to note here is we have this severe thunderstorm warning at the same time as we have a winter weather advisory going on. So we have lots of thunder and lightning. That includes going over Escanaba right now, just all-out downpours, Manistee, through Garden, down by, I think it's Fayetteville in the peninsula there. But we also have heavy rain going through areas like Grand Marais. But we can switch the mode and see what kind of precip we're looking at here. So that usually helps folks out a lot. And just about everyone is looking at this coming down in the form of some freezing rain. So that's what all the pink means. Again, lots and lots and lots going on. I've had a lot of videos and pictures sent to me, which I appreciate, by the way. Please send them to me. You can send them to me in a direct message. Anything helps. We love to be sending out pictures so folks can actually see what's going on out there. But one thing that I will be showing you here in just a moment is the actual temperatures where this is falling down as well. So again, you can see, from over here by Wakefield, Watersmeet, Iron River, Iron Mountain, and then all the way over to the other side of the Upper Peninsula. That's where we have the very heavy freezing rain coming down right now. And let me get this. Sorry, I haven't been live in a minute, so forgive me if this is a little choppy here. Trying to remember how to do everything. It's been so long. Let's see. All right, so we're going to switch this over. I know you're looking at the radar still. I'll switch you over in just a second. I forgot to switch everyone over last night, and I do apologize about that. But yeah, let's take a look. We'll get rid of some stuff here, clean it up a little bit. All right. I just want to zoom in and show you the actual temperatures that we have going on across the Upper Peninsula. This just looks totally different. So they must have had an update or something. There we go. Okay, so again, feel free to ask questions. Always here to answer questions. Right now we have that severe thunderstorm warning for Menominee County until 9:30 for quarter size hail. That's 1 inch in diameter. Otherwise, all the pink and stuff you see up there, that is freezing rain coming down, maybe mix them with some sleet. So again, lots going on there. Here's a look at the temperatures that we're seeing. So notice where we do have that severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like we have a bunch of 33-degree readings. That is excellent. That's just 1 degree on the right side. So that means we're hopefully not going to have a lot, sticking to trees and power lines, things like that. However, you go just north of there and notice, once we get into Escanaba, we're looking at a 30-degree reading, a couple 32-degree readings. Marquette, we're down in the 30s, even have an upper 20 up in the highlands, just to the west of Marquette. Houghton Hancock coming in 29 to 31 degrees as well. And even over on the west side of the UP, where we saw Wakefield a little earlier, Lake Gogebic, we're at 31, 32 degrees as well. I do want to say that there has been numerous sheriff's office departments posting this, the National Weather Service, that they are just recommending that no one travels unless absolutely necessary in the UP this weekend. It's going to be that bad. So it's not a time to go up there and be a tourist. It's not a time to put yourself in danger. It's not a time to, slide off the road and make emergency responders have to come get you. Tires don't matter in this. It doesn't matter if you drive a big truck with good tires. Ice is ice. Everything slides off of it the same. So, we got that going on. But now notice over toward the Straits of Mackinac, we have temperatures in the 20s and 30s as well. So we are going to start to see probably a good amount of freezing rain start to accrue from here on out throughout the nighttime hours. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some pretty hefty power outages coming our way as well. So zooming in a little bit, this is just an awesome map. It picks up every little thing that records temperature, every little weather station, airport. So Mackinac Island Airport, we're looking at 30 degrees. We have 28, 29 all over Mackinac City. St. Ignace is coming in at 30 degrees. And off, across other areas in the Upper Peninsula. Sault Ste. Marie, 30, 31. Around Newberry, we got 30 degrees as well. Munising coming in at 31 to 32. And Marquette, you can see, like I said earlier, ranging from, the 30s as well. And then lots of temperatures, unfortunately, just below freezing over on the west side of the Upper Peninsula as well. But again, where we are seeing the severe thunderstorm warning for Menominee County, we're looking at about 33 degrees, but still could have some, decent sized hail coming down over there as well. And another area, all along US 2 is seeing that heavy rain right now. We're at 30, 31, 32 degrees, even Beaver Island coming in at 30. So we are going to start to see those ice impacts really, really increase as we go throughout the next several hours. Let's switch back over to the radar. Just keep an eye on what's going on here. Notice we have over here on the water is a special marine statement, and that's for 34 knot winds and hail that could be greater than 3/4 of an inch. So, they issue these for the water. The shipping season has started again. And, usually, obviously, they don't sail through anything too bad. But, this could cause some problems out there. But also something to note is just look at all the thunder and lightning. We have thunder and lightning from Watersmeet through Iron River, Iron Mountain, down through areas like, Spalding and Menominee County, Escanaba, Manistee, the Garden Peninsula, seeing a ton of thunder and lightning. And now we're starting to see it even, right over the Mackinac Bridge in St. Ignace, a little bit of thunder and lightning coming down there as well. So I can also switch over to a different radar because this allows me to have access to the Canada Montreal River radar. And this is not available to a lot of folks unless you subscribe to this Radar Pro app here because it's a Canadian radar. But this covers a lot of areas that the American radars don't, like Sault Ste. Marie and Whitefish Point over toward Grand Marais, Dollarville, Newberry, things like that. So very heavy freezing rain coming down there, unfortunately. The good news is if it falls down heavy enough, it tends to run off of trees and power lines. When it's lighter and it just kind of sticks to everything, that's when we really get those big totals. But it is still going to be a problem. And this is going to be a problem right through most of the nighttime hours. So I do want to switch over to Gaylords as well, really quick. Further down to the south, looks like, we don't have the freezing rain coming in yet. But what's going to happen is this is going to taper off in the middle part of tomorrow. And then we're going to have a little bit of a break. We're going to warm up. And I hope the warm up melts things off enough because then round 2 comes. And round 2 is like a copy, paste, repeat scenario. So if we can melt off the first round, we're kind of almost starting fresh with the accumulations from the second round. So even though we might have total of 1 inch of accumulation from Friday through Sunday, if we melt it off in the middle, we're only having a 1/2 inch on the trees and power lines at each time. Does that, if that makes sense for you? So that would actually be a huge benefit. And I mean, look at all this thunder snow going on. Goodness, you know, if that's actually falling in the form of snow, there is a lot of thunder snow going on here. So this is just a crazy, crazy weather setup right now. Absolutely crazy weather setup right now. And again, this is a very heavy thunderstorm going through, well, severe thunderstorm going through Menominee County. And you can see how there's just these like ripples of very heavy rain coming through. We have a lot going on in the mid levels of the atmosphere with these dynamics, with this front. And notice there's even more severe weather across Wisconsin. This is going to track off to the east, and this is why they included the northwest part of northern lower in the severe weather outlook. So, yeah, lots and lots and lots going on. So let's switch you over to a different source here. And, oops, there we go. I got you there. So here's a look at the watches and warnings that we have going on right now. And as soon as I'm done talking about this, I'll take a small little break and see if I can answer some questions, if there are any, really quick. Okay, so what we got going on here is this dark purple. That is the ice storm warning. This lighter purple is a winter weather advisory and ice storm warning. So we got a couple things going on here. Let's talk about that. So for the winter weather advisory, icing is expected. Total ice accumulations up to 1/4 of an inch are expected, mainly tonight. For the ice storm warning, significant ice is expected. Additional ice snowfall accumulations Saturday night through Sunday. So what's going on is we have a winter weather advisory now, but the ice storm warning will take effect later tomorrow when round 2 starts to come on through for them. And again, everyone else just ice storm warning, Marquette, ice storm warning. We do have a winter storm warning up near Copper Harbor because that's where we're just going to be slightly cooler, that much further north, where we get snow. Because we just got that warm layer in the middle of the atmosphere that melts everything and turns it into rain, and then it melts. We also have a winter storm watch. Now, this winter storm watch could be upgraded to an ice storm warning as well. Now, this is where things are, again, getting a little concerning. Significant icing possible, total ice accumulations between 2/10 and 1/2 of an inch possible. I do think some areas might even be just slightly more than that as well. Ice storm warning, we can take a look at the verbiage here as well. 1/10 to 4/10 of an inch. Notice this one ends at 11 a.m. Saturday. So 4/10 of an inch. And then, like I said, we could redo it all over again. That takes us up to almost those inch accumulations. But if we melt off the first round, hopefully that means we can avoid those lengthy power outages. So I'm really hoping that the warmer temperatures tomorrow afternoon end up helping us out, because that would just be awesome. We don't need tree damage and power line damage and stuff like that. We don't want that. We don't need that at all whatsoever. Okay, so I'm going to switch back over to the other radar just briefly while I look at some questions, and then we'll kind of keep an eye on things while I'm looking at questions just so we don't miss anything. I don't think the severe thunderstorm warning will be continued because, again, it's going to go out over open water. So, yeah, we'll watch that. But notice there's probably a nice little hail core showing up with this guy here as well. And which radar am I on? Green Bay? We're getting far away. So we're kind of in between radars where this one is. But there we go. And actually, why don't we put on the precip type again? There we go. Okay. And again, I'm just going to be checking here and there for some comments because I just don't want to leave anyone behind if they have a comment that they want to ask like right away. So do apologize for that. All right, let's take a look here. Maybe I should just look on my phone because, Otherwise, hopefully everyone's having a great Friday. We're 75 degrees in Grand Rapids down south today, so not to rub it in, but okay, comments here. Yeah, Cantori would be having a great day. Atlanta, Michigan tomorrow. Yeah, you're in that winter storm watch, so we'll talk about that. We'll go through the forecast here a little bit as well. So let's do that real quick now. Okay, so from here on out, we are going to be talking about the forecast instead of what's actually happening right now, because that warning will be allowed to expire. A couple marine warnings are probably going to show up, but this is a lot of thunder and lightning coming down with this very, very heavy rainfall as well. So one other thing that I would love to pull up here for you is actually going to be the power outages. I don't think we're seeing too many yet. Okay, let's switch you guys over so you can see what I'm seeing. There we go. Okay, so this is a website called poweroutage.us. You can always go to your local utility company. Everyone that I've seen, I'm pretty sure in Michigan, has a power outage map. Consumers, DTE, Great Lakes Energy, the Thumb Co-op, I think it's called, and then the ones in the UP as well have their outage maps too. But this one kind of sums everything up. And I'll hover over a couple. It's just saying that we have 270 people without power total. Looks like 37 of those are in Mackinac County, 15 in Baraga County, and just a couple more here or there. So far, not a huge issue, which is good. But I think that's going to start to change from here on out, though, as we head throughout some of the nighttime hours. So let's switch over to handy weather bell here. We'll look at the the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh, whatever you would like to call it. We will switch this to Michigan. And we are, let's see, we're on the 0Z, which is good. How far does it go? Far enough. Okay. So let's switch this over to simulated reflectivity. Okay, and I'm just going to flip-flop back and forth a little bit. I just really want to make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing okay. I might scooch this over just a tad. Okay. And again, this is a subscription site. I do pay for it, so this is not accessible to the public, but I post a lot of it for the public. So this is not something that you can access. Just FYI. Oops. Okay. I thought we lost it for a minute, but there we go. We're good. Okay, so this is picking up pretty well on what's going on. This is, right now we're not seeing the activity over Lake Michigan, but we are seeing this activity over Wisconsin. So keep in mind, model simulations can vary just a little bit. Going forward in time, notice how the activity really starts to pick up over northern lower Michigan, while we still have freezing rain ongoing across the Upper Peninsula for pretty much the whole Upper Peninsula. And this is set at midnight exactly right here. We'll go forward until we start to see something different. So I'll stop right here. I went 4 hours further in the future. This is 4 o'clock in the morning. We're still having freezing rain. This coral peach color is sleet. And there is some confusion around sleet, and it's totally understandable. A lot of folks think sleet is just like snow and rain mixed together. It's actually, sleet is actually frozen raindrops. So when you see those little balls coming down and you can kind of move your hand through it like sand almost or something like that, that's sleet. So a lot of folks have seen sleet today and just thought it was like small hail or something. And it is really confusing because we have hail, grapple, sleet. They're all frozen forms of, little ball shaped things. So hail, severe thunderstorms. Grapple is more of a convection that's like a soft little piece of balled ice coming down. And then sleet is just really small frozen raindrops, just a frozen little circle. So that's what we have with sleet. And then the blue is snow, and that's where we're going to have a lot of snow come down is the Keweenaw Peninsula. And then, of course, green with the reds and oranges as rain, thunderstorms. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that kind of radar image by now. We will go to 12Z. What you do is you have -4 because 12Z is London Greenwich time, UTC time, and Zulu time. I mean, geez, whatever you want to call it. It's over that way by Europe. So we subtract 4 to get into Eastern time, and this is 8 o'clock in the morning Saturday. Still have some pretty heavy rounds of rain coming down from Gaylord to Houghton Lake, but some of that colder air might be getting into northern lower by now. So someone was mentioning Atlanta. Alpena, Gaylord, probably going to start to get into that freezing rain mix here as well. And what happens is throughout the day, we do warm up a little bit. We're going to take a little bit of a break in some of the action as well. So once we get into the afternoon here, I'm hoping we melt off some of this in the UP, but we're going to have this northeast wind coming off of this area of land in Canada. This is a very rocky area. It's called the Canadian Shield. It gets very, very cold there. And we get a northeast wind coming off that, and it brings the cold air down. So you have warm air, cold air slicing underneath it, and that's when you get warm rain falling into the cold air and it freezes on contact. So now we're just going to go to a nice even number here, 0Z, that is 8 p.m. Saturday. So 8 p.m. tomorrow, round two is fully underway. We're having a lot of freezing rain further down to the south. Notice where we saw that ice storm warning for Menominee County. We're going to have that going on as well there. Now we can go a little further out in the future, but I have to switch models. So we're going to switch over to the NAM because the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh, only goes out 48 hours. That's as far as I can go on that model. This model goes out like 60 hours. So notice you were probably thinking, wow, the UP is pretty quiet. What's going on? It was quiet for Saturday, but look how that moisture surges back up into the UP by the time we go overnight into Sunday. I'm going to stop it right here. This is 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. We still have freezing rain in northern lower, freezing rain and sleet across a good part of the UP, and a lot of snow ongoing off to the north as well. And notice how as we go through Sunday, that pretty much keeps up. A couple showers and thunderstorms possible there as we get later in the day on Sunday, and a lot of freezing rain still. Then we're switching over to severe weather chances down to the south. Look at these thunderstorms here. They're in that bowing shape, kind of like a backward C. That's the possibility for severe storms Sunday evening, and that would include anywhere pretty much along and south of US 10. So we're going to talk Clare, Mount Pleasant, Lansing, Grand Rapids, Jackson, Flint, Bay City, Saginaw, Midland, the Thumb, Detroit, Flint, all of those areas are going to have that. And again, notice the UP just, man, really going through it up there. Storms race through, and then we're finally going to start to be on the backside of this by the time we go into Monday. That's as far as this model goes. We'll go to a different version of the NAM that goes out further. And notice we're going to have those temperatures crashing down to the point where we do have a little bit of snow coming through on Monday. And then we're done by Tuesday. This is a long, long storm system, and that was probably a lot to take in. So, I'll just run through it again on the NAM here. I'm going to start right here. This is 2 o'clock in the morning tonight. We still have the shower storms, freezing rain going on. This is 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning. Again, it doesn't look like a lot because this is kind of our break in between rounds. So we'll keep going. Now we're starting to see the freezing rain really pick up here in northern lower, and this is at 2 p.m. Now we're at 8 p.m. Lots of freezing rain still ongoing in the purple. We'll keep going a little further. So once we get here, we're starting to see some snow, which is better than the freezing rain, but a lot of freezing rain still ongoing. This is now set at 5 in the morning Sunday. This is 11 in the morning Sunday. This is now 5 p.m. Sunday. And it just keeps going from there. This is 2 o'clock in the morning Monday. And there we go. So let's switch back and see, what we're going to expect. Whoops, I kind of messed that up. I apologize. In terms of accumulations. Now, accumulations with freezing rain have to be taken with a grain of salt. This is assuming every single thing that falls is going to freeze into rain and it's going to freeze into ice, and that's just not the case. When it falls really fast, we get a lot of runoff. So literally take these numbers and hack them in half is what we're going to look at. Because the model is assuming that if a quarter of an inch of rain falls, that's a quarter of an inch of ice on a tree branch. If it falls really fast, though, it's going to run off onto the ground and then freeze on the ground, right? So that's what we're looking at. So this is why, I've posted the models, but I hope I've explained it well enough. But when people post models without saying what's going on, you just you got to take it with a grain of salt. So some of these totals are going to be wacky, but remember, cut them in half, right? Okay. So that's why when you see the National Weather Service versus what a lot of other people are posting, it's totally different. They're taking into account the runoff. I just don't have time to draw 100 maps. I'm a one-man band. I'm just hoping I can explain it well for you. So here is into Saturday morning. Some areas, again, this is putting out over half of an inch, if you can see that. No, I think a quarter to half of an inch is possible. So again, take some of these totals and just kind of chop the top off it. Then you can see round two starts to come in, and that's where we're already getting up to an inch in some areas, according to this model. But when you melt off the first round to get the second round, it's not going to be that much. Let's switch over to the NAM, which goes out a little further. And, once we start scrolling things out into early Monday morning, this is spitting out 1 to 2 inches, but I'm serious. Cut it in half, guys. Because when you have a downpour, again, it's the rain runs off of things. If you have a downpour on I don't know, how do I, okay, yeah, think about your car outside. It's raining really hard, right? Does all that instantly freeze the ice on your car windshield? No, it runs off. Even though it's freezing rain, you get ice, but it's not all instantly turning into ice and like accreting and becoming 2 inches of ice, right? So a lot of this will run off onto the ground. That's why I'm saying cut it in half. So where you see like an inch and a half, go 3/4 of an inch. If you see 2 inches, go like an inch or maybe a little less. I hope that makes sense. And I really want to check out some comments in case anyone's asking about that really quick. Because, again, that's just where I'm hoping to, do a little bit of education here. So. Was live. Did my live cut out? Am I not live anymore? I hope it didn't cut out because I've just been talking to a wall. No, we're still live. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. Perfect. Okay. Sorry, you get to see all my stuff. Anyway, here we go. So yeah, there's that. And again, we can look at different models here. We got the European model. This one's just going ballistic. Again, lots of this will be running off. The GFS also going ballistic. Cut all this in half. Boom. There you go. Canadian model. Cut it all in half. Still significant, absolutely. Don't get me wrong. Still significant, but not like, biblical catastrophic. So that's good. But never say never, I guess, right? I will refresh power outages. We're at 254, so again, not the end of the world there at all by any stretch of the imagination. Oops, went to the wrong one there. Okay, so we can also look at sleet totals. A couple inches of sleet, which is going to be like that little balls of ice that looks like sand on the ground, and you can like move it around like sand, stuff like that. But then I'm sure everyone's curious too about the snow potential here. And there will be some on the backside for sure. So, we're looking at localized areas with about 6 inches or more. The Keweenaw could be up to like 9 inches of snow or more. And maybe just a little bit on the ground on top of some of the ice that falls for northern lower Michigan as well. Let's switch back over to the radar and see what's going on there. So that severe thunderstorm warning was allowed to expire. That is some great news there. Still seeing, my lightning went away. I don't like when it does that. It does that a lot. Oh, there it is. Okay. Lots of lightning there. So thunderstorms. Look at Iron River. Heavy downpour, freezing rain downpour coming down now with thunder and lightning. I can switch you back over to looking at the temperatures up there. Let's go over to Iron River. And I know there's got to be more stations than this around here. No, there's not. Sorry, Western UP, a little desolate, but we're right at that 32-degree mark. Some 33s over there. Maybe if I click on it, maybe it'll give me a specific. Nope, 32 degrees. If it's like 32.1, obviously it'll stay liquid, stuff like that. But again, temperatures very, very cold across the UP. So, yeah, this video is going to repost. I don't think I'm going to talk too much longer here, but the video will repost, and you can scroll through the video to see the forecasting stuff that I did for you. And of course, I'll be posting as we go throughout the evening. I'm probably going to record just a straight video, like almost like doing weather on TV or something, and post it in a little bit here, just so folks can watch it. And of course, I'll keep you up to date as we go throughout the weekend. I don't have to go back to my 9 to 5 until Monday. So I will be with you guys all weekend. Again, thank you to my sponsor, Generator Magic. They're going to come in clutch because they do generator parts. They are Michigan based. They have all the parts for Generac generators and other generators on their website. So every time you see a Generator Magic post, they sponsor a lot of this stuff. They sponsor these videos. They sponsor, they're my severe weather sponsor. So they're like the top notch sponsor. So I'm really grateful to them. You should be grateful to them as well because they allow this stuff to stay free. Otherwise, some other meteorologists across the country put everything behind a paywall now, and I just really don't believe in doing that. I want to give you guys access to things for free. So I thank Generator Magic for sponsoring. I also thank ITS Travel Services out of Flushing. Great. One thing I didn't know about ITS Travel Services or any travel agent is that it doesn't cost you any extra money to use them. They get paid through, the other people that they send you to. So I think that's really cool. Someone else does all the planning. You don't got to do anything. And that's super, super cool. So ITS Travel Services, they're based out of Flushing, Michigan. So thank you to them as well. And thanks to Medima's RepoCast. And you can check them out. They have locations like Southeast Michigan, West Michigan, around Grand Rapids. They got a location up in Gaylord. You can check out all the repo stuff they got going on there for anything that you might need. Maybe maybe a snowblower still, right? I don't know, or trucks or tires or stuff like that. So again, huge thanks to my sponsors, and you can always go to my Patreon as well. I do have subscriptions on Facebook, but subscriptions on Patreon are cool. This is what it looks like, Brad Sugden Weather LLC. Again, I do have my own business. Sorry, that's how much money I make a month. It's not much. Again, I'm doing this as cheap as I can to keep it free for you guys. So, but I do appreciate my sponsors that want the more in-depth snowfall total stuff going on here. So, um, let's see, recent post. And again, I'm transparent. I don't care that you saw that I make $180 a month. I am putting my heart and soul into this, and that it works out to like $4 an hour, guys, because I put so much time into this. So I just try. Again, this is what I did for the ice storm. What is freezing rain? That's my second level, which is $5 a month, and timing posts, sleet and stuff. I do make a lot of it free. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast that I put out for everyone. So it's just a great subscription if that's what you feel like doing. That's just the day and age we're in. So again, thanks to my sponsors. Thank you for being here. Thanks to the people that subscribe. You do make it all worth it. And I'm going to be working my tushy off this weekend, keeping you up to date as best I can. Last note, I know there's probably like 4 people watching. Please send me pictures and videos. It helps out a lot. And I will end the stream and get out of your hair, and I will post more later on for you. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it.